There's a general consensus today that sales just aren't working the way they used to. The old playbook from happy times just isn't as effective. The core of the issue, for me, is the definition of a qualified lead. At the end of the day, everyone in the organization wants qualified leads. But there are two parts of the organization that are most directly impacted by qualified leads: marketing and sales. Marketing wants to create qualified leads as the primary responsibility of the team. Sales wants qualified leads because they are more likely to close, and they close faster. When things are going well, this is a great relationship. Marketing creates qualified leads, sales closes them efficiently. And so when things aren't going well, this becomes a challenge. If revenue's declining, there are only a few places you can look. It's very easy for sales to say the leads suck. They're not qualified. So it falls back to marketing. They need to justify the quality of the leads that they're creating. Where marketing will go next is justifying moments of attribution. Attribution is pretty simple. Where did this lead come from? How did we know about them? When did we say that they were qualified and why? Did they sign up for our content? Did they download an ebook? Did they join our mailing list? Did they click the request a demo button? Did they come through an ad? Were they a referral? Did they come from product-led growth? There are like 1,000 products for understanding buyer attribution. Why? Because it's life and death for the CMO. If the leads suck, you have to understand what channels are working and which aren't. The problem is, measurement of these things is really squishy. It was always squishy. I mean, just imagine. When was the last time you bought something? Did you go through one single touch point before purchasing it? For a high consideration product, you're going to spend a lot of time figuring out what it is, whether you need it, what the competitors look like, before even talking to somebody about buying it. That was always hard. It's not a funnel, but attribution products try to come up with ways of scoring all those different moments to say, this person's finally qualified. But what also happened is the pixel-pocalypse. Begun by GDPR and accelerated by Apple's device policy, third-party pixels effectively don't work anymore. And so much of attribution relied on third-party pixels. Where we used to have a fuzzy picture of where people came from and why they were interested in us, it's gotten even fuzzier. Even harder to justify attribution. It's really easy to say the leads suck, and it's really hard to justify where those high-quality leads come from, which is why the average tenure of a CMO is something like 18 months. But this doesn't work forever. Eventually, you have to take a look at the sales process. Now, on the sales side, we've got a different set of challenges. Since SaaS sales became a playbook, now everyone's been trying to drive efficiency. They're looking at each micro step within the sales process and trying to optimize each one to the next. What is our total conversion rate across the entire funnel? What is our conversion rate at each step of the funnel? How much time are we spending in each? I won't get into the metrics of why founders and CEOs care about CAC and COGS and LTVs. Suffice to say, we've been driving for more and more efficiency on the sales side. So on one hand, we've got a machine that's trying to close faster and faster. On the other, we've got people who are trying to understand where quality comes from to help optimize those things before they get into the chute. What I see is that these are conflicting goals, and they always were. But it kind of worked. It kind of worked in good times. Each side could kind of optimize, and if everybody was happy, everybody agreed, leads were coming in, and they were reasonably well qualified, the system runs. But, no surprise, the budgets are tightening. And so while every company wants to create aspirins instead of vitamins, even the aspirin starts to look a lot more like a vitamin these days. I'm willing to get by with what I'm doing currently if it's lower spend. Good times were optimized towards a factory farming model. Get a bunch of chickens in the pen and serve up the ones that live. But no one ever wanted to be a chicken, and especially not today. So now I've got this revolving door, washing out VPs of marketing on one end, VPs of sales on the other end, marketing a little faster. When things don't go well, you now see your revenue funnel as this crazy pyramid that just keeps growing. More and more stages around qualification, more and more stages around acceptance. Why? Because nobody wants the hot potato of what a qualified lead is. Once sales says, yes, this is a qualified lead, now they're signed up to close it. When marketing's generating these leads, they want to come up with more and more ways of convincing sales to accept them as qualified. Part of the rise of the CRO position is just one throat to choke for the CEO. Sick of negotiating the disagreement between these two sides. You're in charge. You get canned if this doesn't work. So what the heck are we going to do about it? Well, the best salespeople I ever worked with didn't start out in tech sales. They started out selling copy. They started out selling complicated financial instruments over the phone. Why? Because nobody's going to give you their banking information when you call them up for the first time. People get really good at listening. They are deeply invested in solving the customer's problem, and the customer resonates and understands that. What I see is this is the death of the factory farming of leads. If you're going to reg wall your content, it's got to be freaking great. Before they mash that demo button, they have to understand and trust that demo's going to be really freaking good. When they get to the sales side and they're doing discovery, it has to feel better than filling out a freaking Google form. And when you do have those critical moments like the demo, they need to be personalized. They need to understand exactly who that person is, where they sit in the organization, what their needs are. This is what we did before there was a playbook, before we got obsessed about the numbers and optimization of every single step of the sales funnel. Organic sales takes a lot of work. It takes people really invested in solving customers' problems, not just foisting them off to the next team, or accelerating them to the next step of the funnel. This is my promise to you. If we focus again on solving customer problems, then we'll rewrite the whole playbook, and the good times will come back. It doesn't start in a spreadsheet. It starts with fundamentals.